Do you buy something that's crazy overkill? So like, I'm going to do that. We all know I'm buying an i9. I've made that very clear. But is that something everybody should do? Do you go overkill, or do you get something that is just, you know, sufficient for your needs as they are today? The real question here, if you go crazy hardcore overkill and everybody buys i9s, is that like a future-proofed decision?
I would say to some degree it is, yes, but in reality, I think all these chips are pretty future-proof the way they sit. So it's going to go back to, are you just buying this i9 that's going to sit there and not really be used? Is that a good decision? No. So it's going to go back to budget, use case, maybe, you know, put some extra memory in the thing, or put a better card, a video card in there. You know, that would be my advice as to where you should be putting your money. But now again, there is a use for the i9. If you're a business and you need to be cranking out some crazy exports from some high-end CAD project or something like that, that i9 is going to pay for itself. So there's a, you know, example of where you might want an i9, but I wouldn't overspend on the CPU side. The i5, i7, even the i3 is really going to last several years. We have SSDs now. PC performance has never been as good as it is right now.
PC performance, correct. All right. What about just throwing some shade? What about laptops versus desktops? And I'm thinking this might be for again education application.
So laptops is a little different. Laptop chips aren't necessarily created equal. The i3, i5, i7, they do have i9s as well, Xeons, things like that. Mobile, I would, if the budget's there, I would definitely pay a little bit more. If you can afford it, you're gonna get better clock rates, usually more cores depending on the chip. Intel's at a pretty rapid cadence though with their mobile chips, so it's tough to keep up. I mean, if you look at Intel Mobile right now, you have anything all the way from 8th all the way up to probably 11th gen almost. So I mean, within the next little bit here, so it's going to be pretty muddy water from the mobile standpoint. And some are 14 nanometers, some are 10 nanometer, and they're not all created equal. Really, if you're looking to future-proof yourself, in most regard, I would try to land for the i5. If the budget's there for the i7, maybe go for that.
Is it fair to say that unless you need the mobility of the laptop, that it's generally a better decision for businesses, for schools, et cetera, to purchase a desktop?
Hands down. You're going to get better warranty, better serviceability on the product. If something goes bad, you can probably replace it. Mobile, it's kind of up in the air. More and more manufacturers are really locking these devices down where you can't even take them apart, right? So desktop, always better bang for your buck, better performance, better warranty. Usually.
Gotcha. All right, and then the final question, which gen of Intel processors offer the best value, and does it make sense to move from one generation to the next? I think the question really is, if I've got a Gen 4 or a Gen 5, does it make sense that I go and grab a Gen 6 or Gen 7? If I've got a Gen 8, should I be really interested in the Gen 10s that just came out? What's that look like?
Yeah, for sure. If you're actually back in Gen 4, Gen 5, sorry, excuse me 1 second. If you're actually back on Gen 5 or Gen 4, there's definitely a huge, significant bump as soon as you really get to 8th gen. And if you're really already looking at 8th gen, you should just go fully up to 10th gen. You're going to get added benefits. Clocks, hyper-threading are going to be the biggest, and you're not going to be spending really any more money. So if you're already looking at 8th gen, just jump right to 10th gen. And that's really my best advice. The older CPUs, there's been a lot that's changed as far as speeds, core counts, and all that stuff.
And I think the added benefit of all the new i-series having hyper-threading, I mean, that in itself, if you go from i5 to i5, 10th gen, you're automatically getting double the cores.
Big bump, yeah.
Right.